Okay, let's hope for the comments.
I won't leave you
It comes up sideways.
behind. Changes in my life. We'll see in time.
Okay.
Changes in my life. You're always on my mind. Changes in my life. Oh, I got you by my side. Changes in my life. I won't leave
Lincoln.
you behind. Changes in my life.
Okay, good evening everybody. We
You will see
haven't had a RAEL Live Recovery Stories meeting in a while. We've had, I wouldn't say bigger and better things, but there's lots of things going on.
Changes in my life.
And
Oh, I got
hi
you
Lee,
by
good
my
evening everybody.
side.
So what I can't make comments full screen. Okay, I'm not really an IT guy. They say that you use a smartphone for stupid people. But anyways, long and short of it is that the reason why we're sitting here tonight is first of all RAEL Live Recovery Stories was started by Mr. Anthony Hall, and RAEL was obviously started by Mr. Hall. So whether we say RAEL or Mr. Hall, we're speaking about the same thing here. And I think I want to congratulate Cody.
Thank you very much.
1 year at RAEL. If you can come through the school of RAEL, like Gladwin and Clutchy and Big J and Garth and the names go on. Sorry, I've got long-term substance abuse damage, so I can't remember all the names, but I remember all the faces. Freddie, Graham, Michael, Tank, Angus, Lincoln. Yes, see, the names go on. The names go on. I'd have to sit and write them down and go through all the files of guys' lives that have changed. That you come through the school of RAEL. When I say the school of RAEL, I'm talking about the school of Anthony Hall. Then you're going to stay sober. So I think the first of all, we'd like to say thank you for Mr. Hall starting RAEL in 2007. And me and Cody met in a very similar way to what myself and Mr. Hall met, and I think that is what maybe made us have a connection in a way. Yeah, I had Cody's mom phone me, and at the same time, it was on the 4th of Feb last year. At the same time, Mal was in hospital. And it was knocking on visiting hours, and they said anything that you put before your recovery, as taught by Mr. Hall, you will lose. And part of my recovery was to carry the message selflessly, the way Mr. Hall did when he started RAEL and ran 5 support group meetings, all self-funded and carried on. And the visiting hours at the hospital was, don't you just want to phone Mr. Hall there, Tank? And the visiting hours at the hospital was 3 to 4, and there was a mother crying out for help. There was Cody crying out for help, but he wasn't crying out for help through his mouth. But he wanted help. Cody was only coming for a month. So it's been a long month, Cody.
It has been.
12 months, 12 steps.
Sure. Very long.
And sometimes in the beginning of your recovery, 12 days can feel like 12 years. But so I went to go and see Cody, myself and AD. And Cody was telling us about the gangsters that he knows and the places he'd been and all of that. And Cody wasn't lucky enough to see me when I had no teeth in my mouth and jeans that was tied with a cable tie to keep them up, and 2 different shoes. But I colored the one in with Cokie so that it looked sort of similar, you know what I mean? Because I think he would have ran away if he had seen me, if I looked like that. So we met at News Cafe, we had a nice chat, and the best thing about our chat is I think that we could relate to each other. And we knew how we were feeling. I knew how Cody was feeling, he knew how I had felt, and one addict can best relate to another addict. And I don't know if anybody's seen my post this afternoon with that pastor. I don't really want to talk about that. Otherwise, I'm going to start sinning. And I don't want to sin, Cody. So I think, Cody doesn't usually share. It is kind of weird. For us, it feels like you're speaking into a mirror. And we can't read as quick as Mr. Hall, and the comments come up quickly. We can't read as quick as Mr. Hall because we haven't been sober as long as him. And the other thing is that we can't focus on the comments and the story, because we're still busy being unfried. But as long as we're trying and we're not as fried as what we were before. So I just thought maybe Cody can tell you a little bit about his rehab experiences, what was different, and how he feels, and all that kind of stuff. Just whatever, Cody, let it flow. What would you say to somebody that was sitting alone in a guest house behind 4 walls, lonely, addicted, nagging mom? And having to tell stories sometimes. I had to tell stories that weren't true to make me feel good sometimes.
Yeah.
That I could look after myself. But in the meantime, we all know that Mom and my wife, that was my girlfriend that time, was actually looking after me. That's going to irritate me. The phone goes like that the whole day. Because there's lots of addicts out there. So speak to us, Cody. I'm gonna have a hand sheet in the meantime. Is the door closed there by Mom?
Yeah. So must I speak?
Say what you want to say. You can say hi to Auntie Jill.
Hello, Mom.
I'm so glad when I seen Auntie Jill for the first time.
I get nervous doing
I
that.
thought Auntie Jill was... When I seen Auntie Jill for the first time, I thought, no man, is this Cody's mother or is this Cody's sister? And then, after Cody had been here for a little bit longer, I couldn't believe how a parent could look 5 years younger in 6 months. So you must have given your mother a lot of stress, mother. A lot of sleepless nights.
Sure, she kicked me out the house like
I would too.
11 years ago. She kicked me out
That's
the
what
house.
saved your life. Tank, do we have a light there?
I do.
Yeah. Tank, we're going to have to go through these missed calls just not to see if it's people looking for help, huh?
I went to what? Went to about the same amount of rehabs Mr. Schüler went to.
Are you taking my inventory now?
Yeah.
I'm saying you must talk about yourself, Katie.
I went to over 10 rehabs. I'm not used to normally sharing. I'm not shy.
It feels weird. It feels like we're speaking to a mirror because we can see ourselves.
Yeah, well, my addiction started at a very young age. I started doing drugs back in 2003. I was using crystal meth and so on and so forth. And it's been a very long journey. Finding it hard just to figure out the right words to put it out. I only really started crying out for help in about 2015, and how do I say this?
The way it is.
It's been a roller coaster. The last year has been a lot of emotions for me that I've had to go through. I never thought I'll ever make it this long clean in my life.
Did you like us all the time?
No, not at all. I looked up and down the dirt road many of times, wanted to leave, but I just kept on saying month by month.
Hey, Clutchies also watching. Lekker.
And yeah, I pulled it off. I promised my mom and my sister I would do one year. My original goal was 1 month, but that was shortly lived because I had to live up to my promise. It has paid off drastically. I'm very grateful for it. If it wasn't for my mom and the family that I have, I wouldn't be in the position where I'd still be in. A lot of people get pushed aside. But my mom's been there through the thick and thin. She's never ever left me. But this is the first rehab that actually cared. They never leave your side if you need support. Like Mr. Schüler said, he's the first person that actually came out and actually came and spoke to me.
Yeah, I got cut out by Mal for taking a cold KFC because I came to see you first.
And I was high on Dopacor, coming off Dopacor. I'm still actually coming off medication. I've been feeling terrible, but I'm pushing through it. Very high on pharmaceutical medication to set my chemicals, they said, in my brain back. But yeah, it's pushed a lot of my friends away, family away. I don't really speak to any of my other family, only my mother, my sister, my brother.
That's because of your addiction, not because of your recovery.
I don't really want to. I don't know. I don't really want to see them because it's judged. People judge, and I don't need judgment in my life. Especially with family, they judge very quickly. I see. I don't like being based around that at all. That's including friends. You can literally count on your hand up the first 2 fingers on how many friends you really got. The rest bolt the minute they see trouble.
Am I your friend?
You're my friend, Mr. Schüler.
That's fine.
Me?
You're my friend.
Coffee friend.
You know what the most lovely part about this meeting is, to be honest with you, is that I've had the privilege of walking up the stairs to News Cafe, myself and AD, going to go and greet Cody, and he was just as nervous as what we were.
I'm nervous.
Because to a mom, it is my son's out of control and he's vicious and he gets aggressive and all of this. So I'm not such a big oak, so I'm checking like, okay, I'm walking up the stairs. I don't know if I'm going to meet up with somebody that's going to throw me off the balcony or whatever, but I'll risk my life to save his. And we had a chat, and I can be dead straight honest with you that and there's guys on this wall that is watching with tonight, like Clutchy, Gladwin, Richie, that seen Cody come in here. Cody was the example of the living dead. Cody was example of zombie nation, of sleepwalking. And that's where his addiction had taken him to. Cold, emotionless, and as I was saying, the best part for me now about this share and about this meeting so far was to check the way Cody was smiling and speaking, because Cody didn't smile for 2 months when he got here. And that's why there's no quick fix in recovery. That's right, Auntie Jill. We say it all the time. Most of the guys here is a result of a mother's prayer, and the people closest to us that we not we, but the addict in us, abuse and treat badly and hurt and manipulate, those are the first people we look for when we get to rehab and we start feeling again and feel remorseful. And I've seen Cody go from a wanter to a giver. I've seen Cody go from a I don't care to, Mom, how are you? Cody's first few conversations was I want. But now his conversations aren't like that anymore. I've seen his priorities go from wanting luxuries to wanting his own first aid kit. So it's in the actions. I've heard Cody's life story. They say we're only as sick as our secrets. Cody's a free man inside today. The chains of addiction is broken inside of him because he's followed this program. And like he says, it hasn't always been easy. But if addiction recovery was easy, then there wouldn't be so many addicts. Because I think that they should show the addiction statistics on e-news instead of the COVID statistics. We've had some very sad news about the COVID. But maybe it is just part of life. So, yeah, I'm going to leave Cody to speak a little bit more about his journey through life, through his different experiences. I watched a video the other day, a live video. I so dig to mention the names because it's like so easy to say if you've had a cuck experience at the corner shop, it's fine for you to say to Auntie Leslie, don't go to that corner shop because they sell cuck fish and chips. Rather go to that one. But when you want to talk about rehabs and you want to name, don't go to this rehab because they treat you like shit, then you're scandalous and you're trying to name and shame and all that cuck. But I seen a video and it was sent by a mother. It was a live video of a place up in the Northern Cape. And, I was almost on my way up to the Northern Cape because I actually wanted to go and fetch all those people that were suffering from addiction there. And the mom told me that her son in 2 weeks had a blood nose and was missing 2 teeth. And that's not how it operates here, man. Yeah, thanks for the reply there. And yeah, so that's Cody Clegg. Yeah.
So do be really open and
Talk it out, Cody. Remove the stigma. I've done lots of bad things. I've broken into lots of houses. I've done credit card fraud. I stole from my parents. And I even went as far as selling my child's clothes. And there's a picture that my mom's got of me sitting in front of her gate where she gave me a bit of Oros and a piece of cake where I've got a blanket around me because I sold my t-shirt to the Caltex garage guy. Yeah, I've broken into shops. I've been to prison. And Cody's smiling again. So he must have gotten good news. So that is what it is. So yeah, feel free, Cody. Just try not to mention names and create any animosity and things like that. I've done a lot of bad, and it would probably take 4 lifetimes to make it right. And I think that we taught and we learn here by Mr. Hall that it's in our actions of giving back in the places that we unable to make right. We go and carry the message. We go and bless the people that are still suffering. We go and go and sell hope. That's all we're doing this evening over here. We don't want fans or anything like that. We just want a family that maybe had a situation like, or has a situation like mine or Cody's, to find the real answers, because there's so many trial and errors that we've had to go through. I think between us we've been to 20 rehabs, eh?
Yeah.
20 rehabs. And I've been on a long walk with Mr. Hall for 13 years on and off, and it's very rewarding to see people come in the way Cody came in, and to see people the way Gladwin came in, and Clutchy and Freddie and Big J, who wasn't so big when he came. He was tall, but he wasn't big. And then he got big again because he stopped drugs.
I have tears of joy for you guys. I do.
I'm nervous just being on this. I'm not used to being talking in front of everyone. But my journey started when I came back from England in 2009. And I was obviously sniffing a lot of cocaine when I was in England. When I came back, I stayed with my mom for about 3 months, and then we moved back down to Cape Town from Durban. And by the time we got to Cape Town, within 6 months, she had kicked me out the house. I slept on the beach for one night.
Why would your mom kick you out of town?
All weird and wonderful things.
Okay.
Wasn't
all things bright and beautiful.
And then I phoned my friend Werner, and he was living in Camps Bay at the time, and I was...
Oh, they don't do drugs in Camps Bay.
No, obviously not. I was smoking a lot of crystal meth at the time.
Oh, tick.
Yeah, tick.
Okay.
And he gave me a place to go stay there, and he put me up in his lounge, and he put some hash by a bucket bomb, and he told me to detox like that in the lounge. And I stayed there for 6 months. After that, the one day I saw him, he's younger than me, he's about 5 years younger than me. I saw him pulling out a couple wads of cash underneath his cupboard. And I was very interested. I said to him, like, you don't work, you don't do anything, like, where do you make so much money from? I mean, I was selling coke in England and selling weed and all that, and indoor. That's how I learned to grow weed. Indoor marijuana, I learned to grow it in England. I started growing it in my cupboards indoor in England, blueberry and so on. And Vanna said to me, no, he works at all these festivals, trance
Okay, we're
festivals.
just using the name Vanna because we don't want to use the real name.
No. And he used to do work there selling drugs and so on and so forth. Pretty much all different types of drugs. So actually I wanted to get into that. It's not that I was lazy, I just wanted to make money. Obviously I love money.
I used to tell people I didn't have a drug problem, I got a money problem.
Yeah, no, I did have a money problem, but I did also enjoy doing the drugs at the time.
Yeah, I needed a lot of money for drugs.
I also did a hell of a lot of money. And then at that time, I still remember my mom came and visited me at Caprice, and we had breakfast there the one year. She came and gave me 600 rand, so you never had any money, nothing. And I just had started working at the trance festivals.
Oh, what do they do there?
I take drugs.
Oh, okay. I thought they have hot dogs and popcorn at trance parties.
I wish. And then I met this girl on the 11th of the 11th of the 11th, Jessica, and...
That's also not a real name.
No, it is. I never had a place to stay. I was just staying with Vanna at the time, my one friend. And once I met her on the Saturday, and I moved in with her on the Monday. She asked me to move in with her, so I moved in with her in Simonstown.
Instant gratification.
I had nowhere else, pretty much. Hey, she was beautiful, so so that's fine. That's one of the benefits that came with it. So I moved in with her. We moved to Observatory.
So your choices, you say you didn't have a choice. Your choices were based on your addiction at the time. Otherwise, you would have had somewhere to go.
No, not particularly. Like, I enjoyed her company. She was a lovely person, and at the time, she gave me an opportunity to give me a roof over my head, and so I took that into play. And I was still not working at that time. When we moved, when I got to Simon Sons, I'm sorry, I'm not used to telling people my whole story.
You didn't have to tell your whole story. Just that you were completely stuffed when you got here. And maybe a little bit about your experience here from the day that you walked into RAEL.
Okay.
Because I don't think it matters how we got messed up or you know what I mean. Point is that we got messed up, and then we got unmessed up.
Well, my experience at RAEL has been a bit difficult and weird. Watching the different people come in and go out. Watching the people come in has been very difficult for me, especially when they're leaving. You see some people, they come in here and they stay here for 3 months, and other people come in here for 6 months, and they go within 4 months. And I mean, with all my time that I've been here, I think I've seen maybe 4 people leave on good terms, or 5 people. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, most of the people all think that they're prepared and they're ready to go home, but they're not. That's what I've seen personally with my own eyes. It's so confident, but that's what I also thought at the time.
I think my first experience as well with rehab is that you get that false pride and that confidence and things like that, and a lot of those guys need to learn. Like I think our biggest problem is, part of it is growing up, another part of it is I had a listening problem before I had a drug problem, and yeah, I think the thing is that people don't believe us, but we have a completely open door policy, and we've got 25 guys on the program here at the moment. We don't have electric fencing, and
that's the worst thing.
We tell people that if you want what we've got and you're willing to go to any lengths to get it, like Cody, and that's the message that Mr. Hall carries to us, because we watch him. He's happy. He's serious sometimes, and has a full range of emotions, and lives large, and that is generally what people want out of life, you know, is to have good relationships, and you get to see that living example in front of you. So it's not textbook that is taught here. It's life experience that is taught here, and I think that my first time coming through the doors of the rehabilitation center of RAEL, not being affiliated with RAEL in 2007, I'm talking about the rehabilitation center, is that what kept me here, my addiction had made me scared of myself, because of the people I had hurt and what I had done to myself. So yeah, I think that is we suffer with something that tells us that we don't have it, and we convince ourselves. I've left rehabs before where you could put me on a lie detector test, and I believe myself so much that I'm never going to use again, that lie detector test would say the same thing, but within a month or within a week,
It's a flop.
It's a flop. And I think over here we taught how to live our lives, how to have fun without alcohol and drugs. We taught how to break the walls or the boundaries that have been built up around us, and remove the stigma, and build honest and open relationships. and to come out of our shame, realizing that we're not bad people. I wasn't a bad person. I was a very ill person. So, yeah, we've obviously got other evening meetings and things to do. You know, it's taken Cody a very long time to start speaking and things like that. Like I said, my first time here, Cody, my nickname was Silent Bob for the first 9 months, bro. Because all I done was, I was too scared to talk. Because my confidence was so shattered. And I didn't believe anything I'd said anymore, because I had made myself and other people so many promises that I had broken.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was RAEL that believed in me until I could start believing in myself again. And I think that's a very close example to what you're living at the moment.
Thank you.
Cool. So any couple of last words there, Cody, before we finish off and go have our evening recovery meeting with the guys?
Yeah, it's been a long road, but getting there. Not slowly, but getting there on the road to recovery. Yeah. Just been hard. Obviously, I say it's been hard over the last, I can say 10 years. With the family, it's just that the work that I do, like I said, family judgment is a big thing for me because of the profession that I obviously deal in and work in, with the growing and so on and so forth. Is that a good thing to even say?
Yeah, maybe you can say thank you to Mom for never giving up on you, and
thank you to
always
Mom
being there, and
for never giving up on me and for always being there. I really appreciate it.
lekker, Cody.
I'm not that good at this stuff, Mr. Schüler.
Cody, don't worry. I couldn't speak for 9 months. Okay, I could, but I couldn't speak sense. At least you're speaking sense, you know what I mean? I don't know if Tank wants to say anything. Maybe Tank can just... Tank likes making people laugh because he's funny. Maybe Tank can speak about his experience with Cody. I didn't want to speak too much about Cody because I love him, but I don't always like him. But that's the way addiction and addiction recovery goes. We are tight-knit here. And I can tell you now, if there's a recovery bus coming past and it's between me and you, I'm jumping on that bus. Nothing will stand between me and my recovery. That is the simplest form I can put it in. And I'm glad that Cody's adapted to that way of thinking. So Tank said he's going to give it a rest for tonight. And then hopefully Gladwin and Clutchy and Garth and the rest of the guys can come visit sometime soon again. As the stuff with the lockdown and all of that has lifted again. And we'll honestly try share some more meetings. But Cody was broken when he got here. Cody was stuffed when he got here. And
I was emotionally broken from the people I was working with.
And it's a big relief to see somebody come out of the darkness into the light the way he has. So thank you RAEL, thank you for his mom's support, thank you for everybody else's support. Cody in the beginning didn't even want photos taken of him, and he's grown in just about every aspect of life that you can grow in, and the most important is that you can't recover in 21 days or 28 days. We've tried that. It just prolonged it, Just gave our parents and family more pain. Okay, so that's from us here, RAEL Live Recovery Stories. If you want to share it, you can. It doesn't matter. It could just help someone that was in a situation like us and our families. But God bless, and thank you all for not judging us and standing by us. Thank you.